Hey, happy Friday, sixth graders, December 4th. We're cruising along here in December. Time is ticking by, right? Actually, I heard an interesting thing this morning or actually this afternoon. A friend of mine works for Children's Memorial Hospital in South Minneapolis, which is about a mile from my house. They're possibly getting COVID vaccines next week. So it's starting to happen. Keep the faith alive, people. Hang in there. All right, today, do a little bit of review of hyperbole, and I have a scavenger hunt for you. So a little bit of a challenge here. Okay, so here's the thing. I want to just quickly, just briefly, with some of you, I was able to do it, but let's make sure we understand hyperbole. And hyperbole is an extreme Earth-sized exaggeration. Again, you got to go crazy, and the more creative, the better. I heard some examples yesterday that were great. I remember Alyssa, you had a great one, and I think Ari, you had a really good one. There's some great ones, so I'd like to see more of that. So when I grade your things here, there's your examples. It'll be kind of fun to see how creative you got. So again, cheese smells worse than a drawer full of moldy, sweaty socks can be actually much better if we go into like more extreme moldy, sweaty socks that were previously worn by a construction worker working 12-hour days, 7 days a week with no time to shower even once. Bleh. So that's where we're at. So at this point, at the end of this week, we have got champ in our I shampoo acronym. We have a simile, hyperbole, alliteration, metaphor, and personification. Of all of them, these are the big five for me. A lot of writers are just really good at this. So here's what I want you to do today. I'm going to send you on a hunt. Okay? Send you on a hunt. So most of today will be this. To find figurative language around you in your world. And I don't mean the computer. I mean like the physical world around you. You're going to try to find at least one example of a simile, a metaphor, alliteration, personification, and a hyperbole around your house or your apartment or wherever you're staying. I want you to try to think of what can you find that fits these examples. Now again, if you can't remember what each of these, go back to our sheet right here. This is where our definition of these things is, and also an example to help you see what you're looking for. So here's the deal. So find at least one example of these around you, in your house, out your window, on a walk down the block, in a book, in a newspaper, on a cereal box, a newspaper, whatever you can get your hands on that's physical. I want you to try to find 5 examples. This is going to take some time. This is not going to be easy. It will take you the whole time today. And some of you, it might even be a little bit longer than that. So I'm not going to have this due until Monday. Now, here's the thing. You may, as a last resort, let's say you're on class period's over, it's 10:40. You haven't gotten anything done because you can't find a single example. Number one, I have a feeling you're not looking hard enough. Number two, if literally there's just nothing in your house and it's possible, then you could go onto the internet, but you can't just find an example. I want you to I want to see that you have a picture, someone has a picture of a sign on the internet that is an example of alliteration, or someone has a picture of a book cover that's an example of a metaphor. I don't want you just to use other people's stuff. You can find this stuff so easy. Who cares? You're the one who's got to find it. And so if you're on the internet, then you've got to make a decision. And I'm going to ask you to explain it too, so you can't just use it. So here are the directions. Step 1, find your real world example and take a photo of it. For example, I actually was opening my cabinets today and I saw a cereal box on the back. I thought, holy cow, it's alliteration. The phrase was ban boring, eat vibrant. That B sound is alliteration. Step 2, create a Google slide presentation. Name it the Figurative Language Scavenger Hunt. Dash your name. Okay, I'll show you that in a second. Step 3, for each slide, I want you to have at least 5 slides because you're going to insert your photo of your thing, so whatever you took a picture of, and then insert it in a page, and then 1 picture per slide. And for each photo, this is step 4, I want you to label the type of figurative language. and how this is an example of the specific type of figurative language. So you got to do some explaining here. This helps me see that you understand the concept. And then your final step will be to post the link to your Google slideshow in the discussion below. So I should be able to open up and just click on a link or copy it and paste it into my browser, and I can go right to your Google Slides. You don't need to share it with me if you want to. That's extra level. That's great too. But in the end, I just should be able to click on the discussion post. So let me show you what this would look like, right? So if I go to, this is, notice the title up here, Figurative Language Scavenger Hunt, Mr. Slaby. That's what yours should look like, except it'll say Hudson Appleby, right? It'll say, I'm forgetting all who's my, Brooke Osmolash, like all that's all right there. So here's the thing. Again, same directions are there, but this is an example of what I would want you to do. So there's my metaphor. Okay, so there's the title. There's the page that tells you it's my metaphor. This is a children's book that my daughter has, and my explanation is kind of long, but it's needed. This is a whole book that's one big old metaphor. The book is about an idea, and that's the idea right there, that acts like a growing egg. So here's the thing, right? That an idea is being compared to this egg. However, instead of using like or as, this book just simply says it is this. It shows that it is this. It's literally just acting like an egg with legs, and it grows and grows until it actually sprouts wings and flies away, and it actually becomes action. So an idea becomes like something that changes things. So the whole book's one big metaphor. But notice I had to explain that. You might have to too. Children's books are a great resource. There's tons of metaphors and similes. Personification, again, another children's book. This is The Day the Crayons Came Home. Great book where these crayons write letters to the kid here. So in my explanation, I have to show that like these crayons are acting very human-like. They have needs, they have wants, they have gripes and complaints, and they want the kid to answer it. So that book is personification, whole book. Simile, another great book. It's called Maxie's Secrets. This was on my daughter's shelf. Look at this one right here. Her dried dog slobber is everywhere, like 100 tattoos. So this is a simile. Using like or as, they're comparing the dog slobber with the tattoos. There's my explanation there. All right, keeping going. Hyperbole, right? So I found this on a foot powder. Here it says the standard of purity. Look for advertisements have a lot of hyperbole. This is a good example because frankly, the standard of purity, I mean, that's a pretty bold exaggeration, because here's the thing. If you think about the word purity, that's like a pure soul or a pure person. There's only like if you're a religious person, there's only one standard of purity, and it's whoever's the god of your particular religion. So standard of purity, the old like Arm& Hammer odor defense foot powder, it's pretty exaggerating. So that's a good example. So as I explain that to you, now you understand like, oh, Mr. Slaby understands what an exaggeration is, what hyperbole is. And lastly, this is what started it all, alliteration. I got ban, boring, eat vibrantly. This was on the back of a cereal box. Pretty easy explanation. It just shows me, actually, and I put this extra, I put the circles in there because I wanted whoever is reading this to be like, oh, you see that it's B, B, and B. So anyway, there we go. That's, if you want to go like, I would say this is a good solid 3. It's nothing special. You will need some time to do this. So look around your house, look in books, especially any book you're reading or a book on your shelf. Usually narrative books, like chapter books that are telling a story, they'll have metaphors and similes, probably not nonfiction. Newspapers might have some hyperbole, like for advertisements, and there might be some alliteration in those advertisements because they're catchy. But again, maybe you find a poster on your wall, or maybe you see a sign out your window of a restaurant or something. But I want you to hunt. Scavenger hunt. Ultimately, today, I'll give you most of the hour. The directions are here on Schoology. And then I'm again going with the grading scale. This is going to be a trimester 2 grade. This would be a nice way to start. So you have all the rest of the hour, you have the weekend. I just want to see this by Monday. First, probably the first grade of trimester 2. How about that? Okay, team, good luck. As always, please ask questions. This is going to be hard. I want it to be hard. So don't give up and don't quickly resort to the internet. That's the easy, like kind of weak way out. It's pretty lame. So, any questions, you let me know. Good luck. Have a good weekend, everyone.